For tonight's Taking Stock, we're joined by Richard Miles, Pro Vice-Chancellor at Sydney University, and Scott Phillips, Chief Investment Officer at the Motley Fool. So, I mean, this is a bad move PR-wise, to say the absolute least, right, Scott?
Dear, oh dear. It's not bad enough they're actually charging more for the larger sizes. They're actually not charging more for the men's sizes.
I know.
That is,
what are they thinking?
You do wonder who was sitting there with the website or with the price range and went, yeah, that's okay, let's do that. This should be fine. No one will talk about it. No one's going to
notice.
Oh dear. Seriously?
I mean, read the mood of the day and the age, right?
Man, just thinking about that idea of, it's bad enough to actually try and charge more for those sizes. You got to say too, these are pretty big margin products, right? They're not the most expensive things to produce.
Exactly.
There is going to be a 70-ish% gross margin on these things. To have to charge $10 more for a $50 purchase to cover what, a little bit more material? I mean, yes, it is more expensive to produce, absolutely. So rationally,
they were saying,
should it be worth more?
They were saying
maybe?
it's a different range entirely because they're bigger. They are a bigger pattern, and therefore it's a different range. They don't bring as much of them, and therefore it costs that range more.
What is it? I mean, that sounds absolutely ridiculous.
That's what they said. They said it's not, more material. It said it's a different pattern, it's a different range, and therefore it's just a different price.
I think it's sort of price shaming, but also you'd actually have to pay me money to wear some of those things. Just see the design. I'm sorry, but really.
Hot tip for your wife: never come home in
what
that.
I just heard, which is next week you're going to come dressed in that, which is really good. So
I'll do that.
All right,
okay. Yeah.
But also, I mean, the other thing about it is about the differentials in size. And when I came back from working in America, I was just really delighted. I thought I've slimmed down to a 32. I kind of got back here and I was a 36. It was just ridiculous. I mean, if you sort of medium range in many places in the States is like kind of extra large.
That's interesting you say that. I'm probably the only one qualified to say here in Australia. I think the sizes have been. I've been going down sizes and I've been exactly the same weight for a long time. So I think they've been trying to tell us that we're all slimming down when we're actually not. Yeah. So I think the women's thing, I don't think everyone's noticed that. Used to be a small, now you're an extra small, and I'm literally exactly the same.
Unless you're paying $10 more for the plus size range, in which case you're completely, they're throwing it in your face and saying, sorry, fatty, you're going to have to pay more for this thing.
It's so bad.
And a bigger pattern, it sounds ridiculous.
Well, this is it. It's like,
that's what they're saying.
You do wonder if it was one decision that they said, right, we're going to charge more for these, or if it was a whole series of little decisions, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, no, it's $10 more on the side. This is going to blow up in my face horribly. Yes. I mean, I don't know if there's a cautionary tale here. It's maybe be careful.
I think it sounds like a PR panic to me. But
I think it's the pricing analyst somewhere who's got the spreadsheet in front of them saying, maybe to your point, but maybe it is more expensive. Yeah, we should probably charge more for that. Everyone's like, okay, good idea. No one's actually sanity checked it and gone, how's this going to really look?
It's funny because they're a really successful retailer.
Yeah,
it's a funny misstep from
Isn't
such a big brand. And
quite a high profile, kind of high fashion brand, at least in the pyjama, where you kind of figure they'd be more attuned to that stuff.
Okay, we've got another kind of question to put to everybody, which is, will a social media break become the new smoko break? The idea is actually gaining a bit of traction as an increasing number of employers, I should say, are banning Facebook and Instagram while workers are on the clock. And of course, at the same time, fewer and fewer people are smoking cigarettes, so they don't need that kind of break. Richard, what do you think? The idea of a social media break?
Well, look, I think people actually need a break from social media probably when they're working a lot of the time. Don't you?
Yes.
Work is the break. Yeah.
I mean, that's and that's the issue. I mean, I look at my daughters. I look at people that I see just around us working. So many people are on social media 24/7, working or not.
You reckon employee bans are a good idea?
I don't know.
It's hard to enforce.
I think it's hard to enforce. It seems a bit like a sort of
Victorian... why employers try to do it.
It's a bit like a sort of Victorian factory idea. It's a bit repressive. I think you have to sort of educate people to realise it's not good to be on social media all the time.
And you're just not going to miss that much, right?
Yeah.
Just put it down for a few hours.
You mentioned smoko break. It's kind of the point, right? Social media is now more addictive than nicotine, which is something in itself. That whole idea of like, I've got to check the phone, Occasionally we get the research reports that we look at our phones 100 times a day type stuff. It is just phenomenal. I will say to Richard's point though, if you work for an employer who is literally looking over your shoulder saying, get off that Facebook, you're probably working at the wrong company. If you can't work for a business that actually trusts you to do your job and to manage that appropriately, go and find another job. Life is too short. I've worked for companies in the past that will remain nameless that I was criticized of not spending more time at my desk, as if that was somehow a measure of productivity. On the flip side, I'm fortunate enough that the Motley Fool is like, you're not on the clock. Take time off when you need it. Work when you want. Work when you need to. Just get the job done. We're all happy. I'll tell you what. I know where I'd rather be, and I know where I'm more productive. Frankly, if I'm being trusted by my employer and actually getting value out of the work, it's not that hard.
All right, Far North Queensland Senator Bob Katter has followed up Pauline Hanson's cane-toed Carl idea with his own. Now, Gun-toting kids on the hunt for pocket money, you'd have to say, is the summary for this story today. Yeah. So he's got a $2 million plan that involves giving kids 40 cents for every cane toad that they kill with an air rifle. So arm them all up, get them out there and shoot the toads. Katter says it will teach kids the value of money while they're at it. Is this a good idea to teach kids the value of money through dead cane toads?
Do you think Bob Catter's got shares in an air rifle company?
Possibly. Possibly.
Look, I was brought up in the countryside.
I was going to say, maybe it's a city versus country thing. We're laughing.
I have to say, and this could be my last appearance on the show after what I'm just about to say, but I used to be paid money for shooting so-called vermin. That used to be everything from fluffy squirrels to magpies.
Oh.
And I can't remember how much I was paid, but basically...
So that was your chore.
And I'd often miss them, and so I'd have to go out and I'd try and find roadkill or anything and say I'd shot
just to bring in the dead bodies to get the money.
This is not an original idea, Bob Catter.
I did think that. You know, it's funny to laugh in the city about cane toads, but he said he was dumping that bag. He caught 8 of them just on the back deck. So he's saying, it's easy, kids can earn money, get out there. Sounds like you relate.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. There you go.
I thought the idea you got
off I related Bob,
I like the idea you got to pay kids to take an air rifle and go and shoot at cane toads. How many kids, you're not going to give a gun and say, you can only use this, don't take the gun unless you get paid. The kid's like, oh, give me the gun, Mum, Dad, I'm out of here. I'm seeing the North Queensland preschool militia is all I've got in my head for this one. There is going to be kids out there with air rifles, regiments and battalions of them out there shooting cane toads. You don't come on, kids will pay you to be given an air rifle, allowed to shoot cane toads.
Well, he did also add, put down the iPads and get out there. Which relates to the last segment,
also,
right?
air rifles are really dangerous, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can blind somebody with them, you can do whatever. So, it sounds like a place to miss.
Well, you're the in-house expert.
It just seems bizarre to be talking about giving kids weapons as if that's going to be something that's going to be well received broadly. I mean, perhaps in his electorate that'll work, but I don't know. This is crazy to me.
I do feel bad laughing. I mean, the cane toad issue is massive for many states, and I do feel bad laughing about it from Sydney.
But there was somebody that said you've got to go after the tadpoles. What's the point of getting them when they're full grown? You could get 10,000 tadpoles in an afternoon. You know, why not do that?
So we've got to train our kids in tadpoles.
Or something. I don't know.
Shooting tadpoles.
I'm definitely not an expert.
Type stuff with air rifles.
Actually, legitimately, who am I to make these sorts of comments? I've never even
still doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
I also to Richard's point, there is something. If there is something in this, it's like getting kids out, putting the iPad down. It's kind of something, some value of getting out, actually doing something other than sitting in front of a screen, about social media and everything else.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe they did themselves an injury in the worst case scenario, but kids could probably do with being outside a little bit more.
I reckon they deserve more than 40 cents a cane toad, that's all I'm saying. I think that was
cane toad inflation.
Yeah,
that's right. Arrive at a decent price. Come on, okay, now moving on. The Australian one-day cricket team will go retro against India. Their uniforms hark back to more of an Alan Border era of those big moustaches, big chains around the neck with the big chest hair, and possibly a few more wins at that time as well. So here's the new uniform. It does definitely have elements there of the old one. Is this likely to win us back over, Scott? What do you think?
Oh, you look at that photo, there are not enough moustaches, there's not enough chest, there's not enough gold chains, as you say. The hair's a bit too neat, a bit too tidy. Go back to the old photo with Alan Border and David Boone and Greg Matthews, actually when he had hair. They were the days we want to go back to.
And also, we need a big fat gut, beer gut.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing that's missing.
Missing that.
When cricketers used to just rely on skill and were completely unfit.
A couple of beers and a cigarette before the game and job done, right?
But it is this. I do find this Australian team disappointing in the way they look. They all look exactly the same. Trendy haircuts, etc. We want a good mullet, big old handlebar.
There you go.
But do you reckon this could win people over finally? I reckon it was perfect timing because they're on the nose, right?
I'm thinking for one-day cricket, you want to every game
just
get one of the old players
back.
Great
Australian cricketing dream.
Bring them in.
I reckon you get Merv. You're speaking of your handlebar moustache in the gut. Get Merv to come and play. Get guest host in a game. Get David Boone back. Just really do it properly retro.
Okay.
Get those guys to come back and play special guests.
Yeah, so you've got to relaunch the celebrity appearance.
I want to see Merv running in, pushing off the sight screen. He might be able to get a couple of overs through. Yes. To have a rest after that, but that's got to be worth seeing. People would flock to see Merv Hughes do his stretches in the outfield and bowl a couple of overs.
Oh, we're full of good ideas, aren't we?
Look,
Australia is welcome for that one for
solve the problems of the world here on this channel on Friday night, nonetheless. We've got Richard Miles with us and Scott Phillips. Thank you both for this Friday night chat. We very much look forward to it every week. Thank you.